Torah Parsha Nitzavim, and the whole Parsha, Rav Bernstein starts with a question, and the question's who's not listed? This Torah Parsha goes from Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 9, all the way through 30, verse 2. So let's just get into and read that first verse, which is going to be our focus verse anyway. We have two focus verses this week from Rav Bernstein. And let's look at the first one. So, you are standing today, all of you, before Hashem your God, your heads, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, all the men of Israel. And that is our focus verse. So I know you might not be able to see it, but I'll try to show you anyway. By the way, I'm reading from the Rashi Humash for Devarim Deuteronomy. You can see it there. But I want to show you, for those that are learning Hebrew, when you see this ending, this chem ending, it's the yous guys. So yous guys are all standing here today, all of yous, or all of y'all, however you want to say it. I'm from Philly, so that's how they say it. So before Hashem, your God, y'all's gods, yous guys' gods, y'all's heads, y'all's tribes, y'all's elders, y'all's officers. And so it's the chem ending. Okay? So that is, now that we actually got into the focus verse, I'd like to dedicate this shiur to Rav Stephen Bernstein, my mother Iris Elizabeth Roque, Carolyn Jones, and Jean McBurrows. Who would you like to dedicate this shiur to? May their memories be for a blessing. Okay, let's go. So let's read this again. This focus verse. So who is missing? So we have, you guys are all standing here today. Moshe's talking. Remember, they're in Moab. They are not Moab. They're not in Israel. And he's saying, giving them, this is not the generation of the Exodus. Everybody's gone except for Caleb, Joshua, some of the priests, Pinchas. So so who are they focusing on? Who's Moshe focusing on in this verse? You guys are all standing today, all of you, in front of Hashem your God, and then he names them: the heads, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, all the men of Israel. And if we look at the Hebrew, it says for your heads, it says let's see, I'm nearsighted. Rashechem says your heads, your officers, the Shiftechem, your elders, Ziknechem, and your officers, Shotrechem, Kol Ish Yisrael, and all the men of Israel. Okay, so that's who's listed. But, so we got the Shotrim, we got the Zekanim, the elders, we got the Shiftechem, the Roshechem. We have all these people. Who's missing? So now that we did the focus verse, let's kind of mark that out. Who's missing? Who's missing from this crowd? We don't have the Shoftim, we have the Shotrim. So we have the officers, but we don't have the judges. We have all the men of Israel, but we don't have any priests. We don't have any Levites. Okay? So Rav Bernstein is asking who's not listed. A lot of times when you're trying to read and understand Torah, the biggest question is what's not being said. So that reverse kind of thinking will help you to understand what's going on. So remember, a couple of Torah portions ago, we focused on, we know there's 3 political seats in Israel: the seat of Moshe, the seat of Aaron, and the seat of David. The seat of Moshe is your prophets, focusing on the Torah, making sure the people are doing the Torah. The seat of Aaron, making sure that all the temple stuff is done. And the seat of David, the kingly seat, governing the land of the nation of Israel. Okay? So everything that we have listed here are this idea of the municipal government, your heads, your tribes, your elders, your officers, all the men of Israel. What's missing are the Shoftim. That would be the seat of Moshe. What's missing are the Leviim and the Kohanim, the seat of Aaron. So all that we have left is the seat of David. This would be considered your municipal government. There's no king at this time, so you're not going to have necessarily a seat of David, but someone has to take care of the nation and all the things that go with governance of a nation. So this is what's missing. I'm just checking my notes here to make sure that yep, so this is the seat of David all the way down. We don't have a king yet, so it's municipal government that is represented here. And let me see. All right, so let's just do that because that's done. And we talked about you guys are, you are all standing here today, your guys' heads, your guys' elders, and this idea of y'all or yous, the plural, is being used here in the Hebrew. Now let's go and read verse 10, excuse me, and something grammatical changes here. Your small children, your women, I'm going to read 9 and 10 together. You are standing today, all of you, before Hashem your God, your heads, your tribes, your elders, your officers, all the men of Israel. Your small children, this is verse 10, your small children, your women, your convert who is in the midst of your camp, from the hewer of your wood to the drawer of your water. And then it goes into verse 11. But now when it goes into verse 10, the you changes, and we go to the cha. So instead of chem, you have cha. Let's see. Hopefully we can get this on the screen here. Let's find it. Here. Like this guy. Cha. And this is your, as in singular. Your small children. You, sir, your small children. You, ma'am, you, sir, your women. You, sir, your convert. So it went from y'all to you. But it's still Moshe is talking to the people. So we have a change in grammar here where now it goes from the plural, your guys' heads of state, your guys' officer, your guys' elders, to you, sir, your small children, you, sir, your women, you, sir, your convert who is in your midst, from the hewer of your wood to the drawer of your water, for you to pass into a covenant of Hashem, your God, and again, you, sir, your God, and into his oath that Hashem, you, sir, your God, forges with you, sir, today, in order to establish you, sir, today, as a people to him. And even with saying as a people, it still says you sir as a people to him. So Rav Bernstein really focused on that to let us understand how Israel is a nation of people, not just an individual, it's a nation. So you're going to go from your guys' municipal government to the things that Israel's doing as a nation. And this was a huge point that Rav Bernstein wanted to focus on, because as we continue on, and even for us non-Jews, it's a difficult thing for us to understand the nation of Israel. We tend to focus more individually and things of this nature, but that's not the setup of Israel. And if we're grafting onto Israel, we need to understand how Israel's set up so that we graft on appropriately. Okay, so now that we're done with our focus verse 9 and understanding that Moshe is talking to the seat of David, the ones that's going to keep the governance of the land. Remember, your judges, they are all about making sure the people are following the Torah properly and settling any disputes. The Kohanim are going to make sure, the seat of Aaron are going to make sure that all the temple activities and things of that nature are done properly so that Hashem is pleased and with Israel. But you have that seat. Somebody got to make sure that the roads are okay. Somebody got to make sure, this person needs this person needs that. Everything's running smoothly in the camp, not just for disputes, but just to make sure there's governance there, and make sure people are doing what they're doing. So that's what this whole verse is establishing. Now, our next focus verse is going to be Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 11, and let's read that. And 30 verse 11 says, "For this commandment that I command you today is not hidden from you, and it is not distant." So let me just check my notes. So one of the things that really Rav Bernstein wanted to focus on for the second part of this Torah portion is the idea that the commandments, the Torah, it's not hidden from you. It's not distant. As he would say, there are some people that will go around teaching and emphasizing that Torah is very difficult to fulfill, and the reason that we can't do the Torah is too hard. And here Moshe is saying, for this commandment that I command you today, it's not hidden from you. It's not distant. And Moshe goes on to say, I'm in verse 12 now, it's not in the heavens for you to say, who can ascend to the heavens for us and take it for us and let us hear it so that we can perform it. Nor is it across the sea for you to say, who can cross the other side of the sea for us and take it for us and let us hear it so that we can perform it. Rather, the matter is very near to you. It's in your mouth and your heart to perform it. So Torah is not hard, and Rav Bernstein always emphasized, if you look in the beginning, I think it's in Luke, in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, you'll see that John the Baptist's parents were righteous and they were able to keep all the laws of the Torah and live according to Torah. Of course, it was a temple then, but they were able to do it even then. And of course, several other people were righteous, living righteously. So it's not that Torah is hard to do. So then Rav Bernstein said, what the problem is living in the galut, living in exile. So say, for instance, Jewish people that are living in Germany or places where people eat pork. It's going to be harder to find kosher food because the people they're living amongst like to eat food that's not kosher. But if they're living in Israel, when you go to visit Israel, that's not even something you have to think about. When you're ordering food, you don't have to think about, is it kosher or not? Because for the most part, it's kosher. We're lucky here in Philadelphia where we have a high Jewish population. And we also have a high Muslim population, so we'll have halal food as well. So we have a couple of choices. So it's nothing for me if I wanted to get, I don't really do this, but if I wanted a pepperoni pizza, you don't even have to ask. When you go to the restaurant, it's beef pepperoni. Like, that's not even a question. So, or other things. So when you buy stuff in Philly, you tend to just think, okay, it's kosher or halal because of where you are. And then you forget that when you go other places, they're not eating kosher or halal. So you have to make sure you get the right thing. So this is what Rav Bernstein is saying. When you're living in exile in the galut, it's a little bit harder to keep the things of Torah. But when you're living in Israel or a place where it's a Jewish neighborhood or whatever have you, the whole community is keeping Torah together, so it's not difficult. So when you're saying that the Torah is difficult, what exactly are you saying? Like, what's the problem? First off, identify what the problem is, and then let's look at how you're living. Or are you thinking that you're the only one holding up the whole Torah for the world? Like, what's going on here? So a lot of people say that, but you never hear why. And now if you hear somebody saying the Torah is too difficult, and then they start talking about, well, the rabbi said this and that and this and that, just stop the conversation, because there's no need in proceeding. If a Jewish person does not want to keep the halakha, they don't want to keep the traditions of their people, there's nothing you can, hey, That's on you. But there's no need to have a conversation there. But for a Gentile, if a Gentile's saying, "Oh, the Torah, it's too difficult," well, yeah, you are a Gentile. You're not in say a Jewish community, and you're not, you're new to this. So Torah will seem difficult when you're new. And that makes sense. You got to learn it slowly. You got to learn what it is, what it all encompasses. But because you're grafting onto Israel. Now, that's what I'm saying. If you are with a Jewish person and they're not following the halakha, which there's usually reasons that you want to understand that what's going on there. But for the most part, there's ways to do things. There's ways to celebrate the Shabbat. There's what they can eat, what they cannot eat, things of this nature. So, but if you're not a Jew, you won't know that. I saw a comment pop up. Let me see if I can get it. Oops, let's see. Hi Miguel. Because the mindset in the community is in harmony, so all support each other in Torah and life too. Yes, and you can see that when you're in a Jewish community. If you're fortunate to be in a Jewish community, and maybe you notice a little red string going around the community, that's the Sabbath's walk. They know how far they can walk on Shabbat. Everything is just set up to be able to do the Torah. And with us non-Jews, we're not in that situation. So Torah seems more distant for us, but it's not. If you are a non-Jew and you're new to learning about Israel, learning about the Torah, your main goal is to learn. So that you can know what to do. You can't know what to do if you never heard of it or you don't have the concept. So Rav Bernstein brought up that point about the, as a Jew living in the Galut, it can be tough, but that's why they live together and they help each other. Torah is given to the Jews as a nation, not individually. You are not individually holding up the Torah by yourself. You help each other to do the Torah together. When you're giving tzedakah or you're giving charity to the poor, why are you helping them to do Torah? They might be too poor to buy whatever they need to complete that commandment or whatever. You're helping each other to do the Torah. For us non-Jews, we just need help to understand what's going on, period. That's the first step. The first step is education. If you want to participate and do something of the Torah, honor the Shabbat. Don't work. That's a really good way to start. And let's see what we got here. Noah was not a Jew, yet still the conviction. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to. Why doesn't it stay up so I can see? Noah was not a Jew, yet still the connection for humanity with God was or is still there. Exactly. He's not a Jew. Rav Bernstein taught us that, this is actually a really good point. Rav Bernstein taught us that there really was no Jew or Gentile until Mount Sinai, where they signed the contract. That's really where you get Israel as a nation, and you get that division between Jew and Gentile. They went up there as a mixed multitude, signed the contract for the Torah, and came out the nation of Israel. Even though you had everything in that mixed multitude, along with the Israelites or Jews, they came out as a nation of Israel, and that's where you really have that division. But yeah, living in community, doing these things, and you'll be surprised as a non-Jew, once you start doing things, eating a certain way, celebrating Shabbat, not working, your support system, your family and your friends will get used to you doing a certain thing and will help you actually to do that. If you know that you're going to take one mitzvah on yourself, you're going to not work on Shabbat, eventually your family will come to support you in that. So these things will happen because Hashem will help you to do Torah as you learn more about it. But in the meantime, while you're doing your education on Shabbat, if you just don't work, that's a great way to start for a non-Jew. Rav Bernstein always told us to just don't work on Shabbat. Shabbat is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Take 2 candles, light it, and you've made that day special and different from the other mundane days. That's a great way to start. If you're interested in the holidays and the feasts, call your local synagogue and go visit your synagogue and celebrate those with Israel. That's how you bind yourself to Israel. Okay, you can always go there. You tell them who you are, you tell them what you want to do, and they'll make provision for you. Even with all this security going on, they still will make space for you at the synagogue. Okay, Torah is given to the Jews as a nation, not individually. That was a really, 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 really big point for Rav Bernstein, and again for going back to verse 10 in chapter 29. It is the responsibility for the nation of Israel when they have these people living in their midst. Let's identify who these people are again. Your small children, your women, and your convert who is in the midst of your camp. It is the responsibility of Israel to take care of these people. Now, if you are a visitor, it is the hospitality of Abraham that you ask for Israel to bestow upon you as a non-Jew when you're visiting the synagogue, or if you're participating in one of the holidays. So, also, thank you, Miguel. Thank you, I appreciate you. All right. Non-Jews grafting on, being a part of the Commonwealth. So Rav Bernstein really, really explained this so well for us. What does it mean to be grafted on? So he explains, you know how the Great Britain, England went and colonized everybody? Even colonized tea. How do you colonize tea? Call it the British Tea Company. How do you colonize tea? But anyway, more of the story is that Great Britain went out and colonized, took over all these countries, and they colonized the U.S. I'm in the U.S., and I'm in the United States of America. They colonized America. They colonized Australia. We are not, I'll speak more for Australia. Australia is not England. So Australia is not England. You don't call people Brits in Australia. They're Australians. But yet they're part of the British Commonwealth. And they adhere to the things that a Commonwealth country does. They receive the king or the queen. They acknowledge British holidays or whatever, things of that nature. And they might even have the same school system, or maybe they dub things the way the British do. But they're still Australians. So that's how Rav Bernstein explained it to us. We as Gentiles, when we bind ourselves to Israel, we become part of the Commonwealth of Israel, not Jews. We become part of the Commonwealth, so we can participate in the synagogue. We can participate in the holidays with Israel. We don't want to do things by ourselves. Why? Because we're learning, right? If you're starting off as a doctor, you're in school still. When you're performing a surgery or something, you need the head doctor to help you make sure you're doing things correctly. So that's what we are. We're part of the Commonwealth of Israel. We're not the Jews themselves. We support them. We acknowledge, just like Australia is acknowledging England, same thing. And that's a really great way to think about it. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. And by the way, just to drive the point home, Rav Bernstein explained something really, really important for us. You may have heard of different religious groups that have the term Hebrew this, Hebrew that, Hebrew. This is not a term that's acknowledged by the Jews as a functioning term. Not anymore. It was more so of a functioning term that you can call people Hebrew this, Hebrew that. In the days of Abraham, the Hebrew. And the way that Rav Bernstein explained this was, he was Abraham and the people around him that was part of his household. He was a loose band of people. But that term Hebrew went away with the whole Mount Sinai thing. Hebrew is not used anymore because now it's the nation of Israel. And also, this is it's not a functioning term. So once that Abraham did what he did, and you have Jacob and all of them, yeah, they can be considered Hebrews, but you tend to find once Jacob is on the scene and he gets the name Israel, from that time on, they're the sons of Israel or Israelites or things of this nature. And the idea of a Hebrew is no more. So that is no longer a functioning term in Israel. So nobody that's a Jew is going to use a term Hebrew. It's not associated with anything anymore. So when you're running into people with that term, it's really not known what they're binding themselves to. So as a Christian, I bind myself to Israel. So but for Hebrew stuff, I don't really know what they're following. The promises are made to Abraham. Abraham's children get the promise. The children are the Israelites. I don't know about no Hebrew children. So for me, I follow Israel. I'm just going to put that out there. But Rav Bernstein did want to establish that term Hebrew was a working term in the days of Abraham. But once once Jacob hits the scene in Israel, that term kind of phases out and it phases out and it goes to Israel, the children of Israel, the Israelites, and things of this nature. All right, let me just check my notes and see if I'm missing anything else. I think that is it. Yeah. So I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a Shavua Tov. And till next time, let me think. Am I missing anything? Yep. That's it. So see you next time.